The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV are proud to present our Christmas gift to you, with help from the good folks at the North Pole. So, without any delay, let's tune into the North Pole studios and Crystal, who will guide us through tonight's show.
Hi, Crystal here, and I'm one of Santa's elves. Most of the elves here at the North Pole are enjoying a Christmas celebration as Santa took off on his annual journey, just a few hours ago. Santa wanted me to be sure to present to you our special program of some of the best Christmas-themed old-time radio programs right here, on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. So, that's what I'm here for. Santa and I got together and picked out some of the very best old-time radio programs, which gave a variety of feelings about the holiday season. These include Jim Anderson telling us his annual Christmas story on Father Knows Best. That'll be followed by Throckmorton Gildersleeve and his adventures in getting a Christmas gift for Fibber McGee. Then we'll have an episode in Casey, Crime Photographer, where Casey uses the nimble fingers of a pickpocket and a 10-ton truck to catch a pair of murderers. Then we'll wrap things up with an episode from Gunsmoke, where a Christmas story is told by Marshall Dillon to a stranger on a strange horse out on the prairie. So, let's get things started with Father Knows Best. The radio version of Father Knows Best stars Robert Young as Jim Anderson, and was the forerunner to the classic TV show of the same name. June Whitley plays his wife Margaret, with Jean Vander Pyle later taking the role. The kids act very similar to the way they do on the better-known TV show. Daughter Betty is played on the radio version by Rhoda Williams, Ted Donaldson plays Bud, and Norma Jean Nielsen is great as the littlest Anderson, Kathy. Of course, to Father, Kathy is Kitten and Betty is Princess. Bud is just Bud. So now, from December 21st, 1950, Father Knows Best and the Christmas program.
Mother, is Maxwell House the best coffee in the whole world?
Well, your father says so, and your father knows best.
Yes, it's Father Knows Best, transcribed in Hollywood, starring Robert Young as Father. A half-hour visit with your neighbors, the Andersons. Brought to you by Maxwell House, the coffee that's bought and enjoyed by more people than any other brand of coffee at any price. Maxwell House, always good to the last drop. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse.
Kathy.
I'm sorry, Daddy.
Oh, Kathy, did you drop another box of ornaments?
Well, they slipped.
They slipped, did they? Margaret, what's the matter with that child? I asked her to do a perfectly simple little thing. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Please continue.
Thank you. In Springfield, the streets were all covered with snow, and lights blinked a path for St. Nicholas below.
Ye gods and little fishes. Now what happened?
You blew out a fuse, Dad.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. How could I do a silly thing like that?
Easy.
What?
Oh, I said you were putting too many lights on one circuit.
Oh, you did? Well, go get a flashlight or a candle or something. How do you expect me to... Oh, I'm awfully sorry. I assure you this wasn't intentional. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The Andersons, gathered as snug as could be, sat waiting for Father to finish the tree. When out in the hall there rose such a clatter...
I'll get it. Hello? Oh, hello, Janie. No, we're just trimming the tree.
Who is it, dear?
It's only Janie, Mother.
Well, tell her you call her tomorrow.
And come back in here where you belong. Or do I have to trim the whole tree by myself?
I'll call you tomorrow, Janie. Oh, it's my father. He won't let anybody else touch the tree, but if you aren't there to watch, he makes out like 10 men. 9 dead and 1 dying. Okay, Janie. Easy breezy, you'll slide a mile. You may go ahead now.
You'll never know how grateful I am.
All right, boys.
When out in the hall there arose such a clatter.
Kathy, will you please leave the presents alone?
Gee whiz.
When out in the hall there arose such a clatter. Oh, well, what's the difference? What I say won't matter. Go ahead, Jim.
There. I guess that does it. Well, how does it look?
Oh, it's beautiful, dear. Really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
The angel's crooked.
Certainly is not. That's the straightest angel I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, then the tree's crooked.
Bud, doesn't anything ever satisfy you?
I'm satisfied, but I thought you'd want to know. Something's crooked.
Jim, dear, it's getting late.
It took me 3 hours to trim that tree, and what thanks do I get? Something's crooked.
I think it looks wonderful, Daddy.
Thank you, Kathy.
It's certainly different, Father.
Thank you, Betty.
It still looks crooked to me.
Jim, it's awfully late. If you're going to tell the children their Christmas story, you'd better start. They'll be up until midnight as it is.
Well, maybe they'd just as soon not hear the story this year.
Oh, no, Daddy. Please.
Betty?
I'd like to hear it, Father.
All right. Bud?
If the tree isn't crooked, why are all the bells cockeyed? Oh, sure. I want to hear the story, Dad. Go right ahead.
How does the tree look?
Great, Dad. Straight as a string.
All right. Now that we're all agreed that ours is the most magnificent tree in Springfield...
In the whole world, Daddy.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. But as long as we all agree that it's a pretty nice tree, let's sit down and I'll begin. Now, once upon a time, about 100 years ago, there lived in the small Danish town of Odense a man whose name, like ours, was Anderson. He was a tall man, thin and gaunt, and not too pleasing to the eye. But he was a friendly man, gentle and kind, and his heart held so much love that the children of Denmark took him for their own. One cold, brisk day in December, the day before Christmas, as a matter of fact, this gentle man plodded down the main street of Odense. The cobbled street was covered with snow, and aside from their jingling bells, the sleighs were soundless as they moved swiftly along their way. In the doorways of the snow-capped buildings, peddlers called their wares. Candles for the Christmas tree, holly to deck the festive mantle with bright red berries and verdant leaves, Yule logs for a flaming fire, anything your fancy might desire.
Mistletoe, a sprig of mistletoe for your door, mynheer. Mistletoe, mistletoe.
Good afternoon, Fru Meisling, and how are you this lovely, clear day?
Hello, Herr Anderson. How could I be? I grow old and weary, and my bones are full of aches and pains.
Old? No one is old, Fru Meisling. As long as the heart is young and the spirit is gay, no one grows old.
And what about the feet? Look, Herr Anderson, holes in my shoes. How can your spirit be gay when you must stand in the snow with holes in your shoes?
That is easily fixed. Herr Bremer has the skill of a genius. In 1 minute at his cobbler's bench, he can make your shoes like new.
Herr Bremer, that thief, that scoundrel. Do you know, Herr Anderson, I have heard that Herr Bremer uses cardboard instead of leather. Cardboard, mind you.
Fru Meisling, I'm surprised. You have been looking in the hobgoblin's mirror.
Ah, Herr Anderson, you and your hobgoblins. Those are fairy tales for children, not old women.
Fairy tales? You think that the stories I tell are not true? Fru Meisling, I am shocked. Ask any child in Denmark, and he will tell you I speak nothing but the truth.
About hobgoblins?
Well, perhaps I exaggerate a little. But in my stories, people do not gossip. People do not spread rumors. No one says that Herr Bremer's leather is mostly cardboard, unless they have looked in the hobgoblin's mirror.
But, Herr Anderson, I have been told, how else does Herr Bremer grow rich?
He works hard, he is frugal, and he has a good heart.
The one who told me she has a good heart, too.
Then it was she who looked in the hobgoblin's mirror. Fru Meisling, this was an evil goblin, one of the very worst, for he was the demon himself. One day he was in a wonderful humor, for he had fashioned a mirror, a very peculiar mirror which would appeal only to a goblin of this very low order. You see, anything good or beautiful that was reflected in this mirror immediately shrank to almost nothing. But anything evil or ugly was instantly enlarged out of all proportion. That was very amusing, the demon thought. And then he had another idea, a truly evil idea. Whenever a good, kind thought passed through a person's mind, it was reflected in the mirror as a grin. And even the hobgoblins themselves had to chuckle at this artful invention. They scurried about with the mirror until there was not a country or a person in the whole world who had not appeared all twisted and misshapen in this demon's glass. And then, Fru Meisling, it happened. The hobgoblins decided to take their mirror up to heaven, too. They wanted to mock the very angels themselves. So they flew higher and higher and higher into the sky, closer and closer to the realm of angels. And the higher they flew, the larger became the grin in the mirror. The thoughts of the angels, pure and kind as a thought can be, shook the mirror so that it plummeted to earth, where it was shattered into 100 million pieces. And that was very sad, Fru Meisling, for some of these fragments, no larger than a grain of dust, still float about the world. Each of them carries with it just a tiny bit of the hobgoblin's power. Each little piece makes one see evil where there is good, ugliness where there is beauty. Fru Meisling, I think I see it now. In the corner of your eye, a tiny speck. Let me take it out.
Yes, Mynheer, take it out. Please take it out.
Fru Meisling, you are trembling. There's no need to be afraid.
Oh, Herr Anderson, you and your stories, you make me forget.
That is too bad. I wish only to make you remember.
Herr Anderson, about Herr Bremer, I should not have spoken as I did. Will you forgive me?
There, it's out, that evil piece of glass. You see, it's as easy as that.
You are a very good man, Herr Anderson. Here, take this sprig of mistletoe. It will cost you nothing.
I shall treasure it, Fru Meisling, to the end of my days.
Ah, go away before you charm the buttons off my shoes.
Goodbye, Fru Meisling. And a Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, Herr Anderson, and God go with you. Mistletoe, a sprig of mistletoe for your door, my name.
Well,
Mistletoe.
I'll wager I cut a handsome figure with a sprig of mistletoe pinned to my coat. Very handsome indeed. I shall say to Jonas Collin, I need no advance, you skinflint of a publisher. See, who but a wealthy man could afford mistletoe for his coat? That's just what I'll say. Yeah. Oh, well.
Come in. The door's unlatched.
Good afternoon, Jonas. Am I late?
Yes, you're late. But then when are you ever on time? Well, a sprig of mistletoe. Such affluence.
Oh, it is nothing. Nothing at all.
Poor Fru Meisling. She gives away more than she sells.
Yes. She's a very good woman. Jonas...
Sit down, my friend, please. We must have a very long talk.
Then you've read my new stories?
Yes, I've read them. Tell me, what am I going to do with you?
That isn't important. What are you going to do with my stories?
What can I do with them? Nothing.
Jonas, if only you could understand...
Understand? Hans Christian Andersen, you drive a man beyond understanding. You write like an angel. Your words have wings, and you waste them. You throw them away on this drivel.
Jonas, you're not being very kind.
I'm being truthful. Hans, why do you do it? Why do you persist in this foolishness?
Foolishness is a point of view, my friend. I am very happy with what I write.
Good. Be happy. And be poor. With your talent, with your imagination, you could write the great Danish novel. A play which would pour money into your pockets.
I am happier as I am, writing the things I feel I must write.
But why, Hans? Tell me, why?
Must there always be a reason? All right, you shall have a reason. I am in love with all the people of all the world, and I have a message for them. A message which I can best plant in the spring, when the earth is green and the world is very young. It is a simple message, Jonas, of love and faith. And it takes root swiftly in the hearts of children. That is why I write for them. That is my life. That I shall continue to do. Now you have your reason.
Hans, you are a fool.
I know. Do I get my advance?
All right. But only because I am a fool, too.
Good. Then the world is not lost. If there is a rich fool for every poor fool, all will come out right in the end. Goodbye, Jonas, and thank you for your advice.
And the advance.
Oh, particularly the advance. A Merry Christmas to you, Jonas. Perhaps if you were to smile, just once, Fru Meisling might give you a sprig of mistletoe.
Merry Christmas, Hans. God go with you. Oh, my poor friend. My poor, foolish friend. He thinks of nothing but good for humanity. And life gives him so little in return. His heart is so full of kindness and love. And on Christmas Eve, he is the loneliest man in all the world.
This warm and friendly holiday season of the year has always held special significance for all of us connected with Maxwell House Coffee. For at the famous old Maxwell House in Nashville, Tennessee, Christmas was the day of all days. On Christmas, this celebrated old hotel outdid itself in the bountiful hospitality of the season. Tennessee opossum, garnished head of wild Cumberland boar, white swan roasted in champagne. These and other delicacies were served in regal style when Christmas Day came round. But of all the delicacies the old Maxwell House offered, its coffee was praised the most. Blended in accordance with a treasured recipe, the flavor of this rare and mellow coffee held the essence of the joyous season. Today, Tennessee opossum and wild Cumberland boar are forgotten, perhaps, picturesque reminders of an earlier Christmas Day. Of old-fashioned Christmas cheer lives on and on. And in this spirit, the makers of Maxwell House Coffee extend the heartiest of Christmas greetings to you and yours.
Daddy?
Yes, Kathy?
Jonas Collins said he couldn't put Mr. Anderson's stories in a book. But they are in a book. I have it.
I know, Kathy. You see, he didn't really mean it. He published the stories all the time. And he sold them in every country in the world.
But if the man said he wouldn't...
Kathy, stop asking so many questions and let Father finish.
Gee whiz.
Go ahead, dear.
All right. Well, after Hans Christian Andersen left the home of his publisher, he walked slowly through the streets of Odense. He walked for hours, looking at the bright candles burning in all the windows, at the holly wreaths hanging on every door. People nodded to him as he strolled by, smiled at him, and wished him a Merry Christmas. And then, after he passed, they shook their heads sadly and sighed because of his loneliness. You see, they too thought of him as a lonely man, childless and desolate. And when he reached a narrow, crooked street on the edge of the city and climbed the long staircase that led to his room, it began to seem as if perhaps the people of Odense were right. It was a very simple room, bare as a room can be. There were no rugs on the floor, no pictures on the wall, but strangely, he didn't seem to mind. A tiny fir tree stood green and shimmering in a corner, and a comfortable fire burned warm and bright in the fireplace. Hans Christian hummed a cheerful song as he bustled about the room. And then, moving slowly down the narrow street, he heard the carolers come. Oh,
dark street shineth the everlasting light. The hopes and fears of all the years are met in thee tonight. O holy child of Bethlehem, descend to us, we pray. Cast out our sin and enter in. Be born in us today. We hear the Christmas angels the great glad tidings tell. Oh, come to us, abide with us, our Lord Emmanuel. Oh, come to us, abide with us, our Lord Emmanuel.
Wonderful. That was wonderful, my friends.
A Merry Christmas, Hans Christian.
And a Merry Christmas to you, to all of you. May God's blessings be on you to the end of your days, bring you great joy and happiness.
Thank you, Hans Christian, and God go with you.
Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come.
How can they say I am a lonely man? What man can be lonely with friends such as these? What man can be sad on a night such as this? On every side, goodwill and peace. In every heart, love and kindness. No. If ever I am sad, it is not on the eve of Christmas Day. Ah, finally they are here. Come in. Come in, my children. There you are. Ah, my children. All my children have come home to see their father. And look at you. What wonderful, wonderful children you are. How you've grown.
We've missed you, Father Hans.
And I've missed you, Goethe. I've missed you all. My little tin soldier.
I'm a big tin soldier, Father Hans.
You will always be my little tin soldier. And the nightingale. Karen with the little red shoes.
Hello, Father Hans.
And the Snow Queen.
How are you, Father Hans?
Look at him. How my ugly duckling has grown.
Father Hans.
Big claws and little claws. Thumbelina. The shepherdess and the chimney sweep. All of my children are here. All of them. I am the happiest father in all of Denmark.
Father Hans.
From all of their storybooks they have come. From nursery shelves all over the world.
Father Hans.
What a Merry Christmas this shall be. What a Merry Christmas indeed.
Father Hans.
Tin soldier, why must you always interrupt?
I have a question, Father Hans. A very serious question I must ask.
So soon, tin soldier? I thought first my children would tell me of their adventures, of the things they have accomplished. It has been a long time, you know.
Oh, all right. But we must have discipline, Father Hans. They shall speak, but I shall be in command. First, Karen of the Red Shoes. Report to Father Hans.
Well, I brought warmth to the children of the world, Father Hans.
Good.
I taught them the folly of greed and the comfort of repentance. I spread the gospel of love and the wisdom of faith.
You did well, my child. You did very well.
Be quiet, Duckling. It is not your turn. Gerda, you are next. Report.
Well, I walked with children in their dreams and brought them happiness. I taught them the beauty of devotion and the wisdom of perseverance. That's what I did.
You did wonderfully, my daughter. Wonderfully well.
Duckling, be quiet. It is still not your turn. Snow Queen, you may report, but be brief.
I kissed 1,000 lips, Father Hans, and turned 1,000 hearts into lumps of ice. And Father Hans, I'm tired of being cruel and heartless. Why can't I be kind like the others?
Because, my Snow Queen, you are vanity. You teach your own lesson. You do good in your own way. That is your fate.
Duckling, for the last time I tell you...
Wait, let him speak, Tin Soldier. He's so eager. Speak, my little duckling. I see. Well, you did very well. Very well indeed. I am proud of you. And now, Tin Soldier.
Father Hans, I have a complaint. Why do I have to have only one leg? It is very inconvenient.
If I can spend all of my days in endless dancing, certainly you can stand around on one leg.
Stand around? I fight 1,000 battles every day. I am the most valiant soldier of them all.
Valiant? Pooh. Being gobbled up by a fish? I suppose you call that valiant.
Children, please, we must not quarrel. Soon it will be midnight. You must return to your homes. But first, I must give you your Christmas gift. The most wonderful gift I can bestow. I give you all a new little sister. The Match Girl.
Welcome, little sister.
Well, hello, Match Girl. Father Hans.
Yes, Goethe?
Why doesn't she say something? Can't she talk?
No, Gerda, I fear not. But she carries with her a wonderful gift for the world. 3 matches, which can bring wisdom and comfort to all mankind. She strikes her first match, so. And to the eyes of man are revealed all the beauties of the earth. The whisper of wind in a leafy tree. A soft crown of light on an angry cloud. Birds soaring through a clear blue sky. The surf as it pounds on a winding shore. All of these and many more our match girl brings to the world. She strikes her second match. And in its light we find truth. Here is the wisdom of man and his conscience. Here is the hope of man and his sorrow. Here is the power of man to build a world of righteousness and justice. Here is peace for all mankind, if man will but accept it. Then the third match, the most important match of all, for it brings love. Look carefully, my children, and see what it reveals. Love of a man for a woman, of a woman for a man, love of a parent for a child, and the love which is taught to us by God, who is our Father, the love of man for one another. Look again and see how in this love there is no prejudice, how it holds no restrictive covenants of color or creed. See how it glows in the hearts of men, worshiping in the church of their faith, whichever it may be, standing as equals in the sight of God. These are the lessons our match girl would teach. Now it is midnight, my children. It is Christmas Day, and there's work to be done. Now go back to your storybooks, to your countless shelves throughout the world. Teach the children of the world as I have taught you. Teach them beauty. Teach them truth. And teach them that which alone will bring them into the sight of God. Teach them love. $12:00. I didn't know it was that late. Well, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, Father.
All right, now, kids, up to bed.
Dad.
Yes, Bud.
The tree looks fine.
Well, of course. I knew that all the time.
Good night, Father, and thank you.
You're welcome, Betty.
Daddy, the duck was cute.
I think you're cute, too.
Good night.
Good night, Kathy, dear.
Jim,
Yes, Margaret?
it's a wonderful story. Beautiful story. It makes me want to cry.
Oh, I have a better idea. I'll take my first Christmas present. A kiss.
Merry Christmas, Jim.
Merry Christmas, my love. To you, to me, to every family in every country, in all the world. A very Merry Christmas. And may God bless us all.
To Father Anderson's Christmas wish, the makers of Post Wheat Meal would like to add their greeting. In this holiday season, may Christmas bring the most in happiness to you and yours.
Father Knows Best was transcribed in Hollywood and written by Ed James. Join us again next week when we'll be back with Father Knows Best, starring Robert Young as Jim Anderson, with Roy Bargy and the Maxwell House Orchestra, and yours truly, Bill Foreman. So until next Thursday night, for myself and for the makers of Maxwell House Coffee, let me wish you again a very Merry, Merry Christmas indeed, and the happiest of holiday seasons.
Hear Jack Webb and Dragnet later at Screen Directors on NBC.
After Jim Anderson's Christmas tale, the Anderson family is now settling down for a long winter's nap. As for us, we'll open our second Christmas gift with the Great Gildersleeve right after this message from the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV are excited to once again be your host for Colfax High School boys basketball throughout the 2023 through 2024 season.
This is what we came in for.
Our next game will be on Tuesday, January 2nd, when the Vikings will host the Turtle Lake Lakers. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN-TV begins with Viking pregame at 6:40 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking boys basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV on Tuesday, January 2nd.
Welcome back to our Christmas gift to you for 2023. As you begin to tug on the ribbons and bows of our second package, you'll find it's neatly arranged by Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve. The Great Gildersleeve, which ran from 1941 through 1958, initially written by Leonard Lewis Levinson, was one of broadcast history's earliest spin-off programs. Built around Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve, a character who had been a staple on the classic radio situation comedy Fibber McGee and Molly, The Great Gildersleeve enjoyed its greatest success in the 1940s. Actor Harold Peary played the character during its transition from the parent show into the spin-off and later in a quartet of feature films released at the height of the show's popularity. On Fibber McGee and Molly, Peary's Gildersleeve was a pompous windbag who became a consistent McGee nemesis. He soon became so popular that Kraft Foods, looking primarily to promote its parquet margarine spread, sponsored a new series with Peary's Gildersleeve as the central, slightly softened, and slightly befuddled focus of a lively new family. In this episode, Gildersleeve is in a dilemma about what to get for Fibber McGee for Christmas after McGee sent him a huge gift. So, from December 21, 1941, here's The Great Gildersleeve and a Christmas gift for McGee.
Kraft presents The Great Gildersleeve. Each week at this time from Hollywood, California, Kraft presents Harold Peary as the Great Gildersleeve, written by Leonard L. Levinson. We'll hear from the Great Gildersleeve in just a moment. But first, I wonder what you mean when you use the word progress, because here's what I mean. Progress means making the old things better and inventing new things that are better than the old. Well, that applies to foods as well as to other things. And modern margarine is an outstanding example. Yes, modern margarine, like parquet margarine made by Kraft, is certainly a lot different from the margarines of even just a few years ago. Yes, all you have to do is to try parquet margarine once to know it's different and better because it tastes so deliciously good. That's why parquet margarine is a favorite everywhere, both for table use and for cooking, too. Now, you all know that proper nutrition is necessary to national defense. Well, parquet margarine is a wholesome, highly nutritious food. In fact, it's one of the best sources of food energy you could serve. And every pound contains 9,000 units of important vitamin A. So get acquainted with this nourishing modern margarine. Delicious Parquet margarine made by Kraft. Remember, it's Parquet. P-A-R-K-A-Y. And now let's visit our friend, the great Gildersleeve.
Let me have some more of that green paper, Leroy. Thanks. Say, who are you sending that necktie to?
It's for Cousin Clinton in Iowa.
Leroy, you can't do that. He's the one who sent you that tie last year.
Oh. Well, in that case, I'll mail it to Uncle Stanley.
Oh, no. Uncle Stanley gave it to Cousin Clinton the year before.
Well, Uncle Mort, how do you know?
Because I gave it to Uncle Stanley 4 years ago.
Oh, are you sure it's the same tie?
Oh, positively, Marjorie. I'd know those purple stripes and those orange dots anyplace.
But, gee, what'll I give Cousin Clinton?
Oh, I think we can skip him this year if we send him a Christmas card.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Llewellyn.
Yes, Miss Marjorie.
Be sure to address a card to our Cousin Clinton, will you, please?
Yes, ma'am. Right away.
Say, how are you coming along with the addressing and the sealing, Llewellyn?
Well, I'm a widow groggy.
Yeah?
I feel as if I'd whipped my weight in Christmas seals. I wish they'd get some different flavored glue, like strawberry, raspberry, cherry, orange, lemon, or lime.
They'll come to that, Llewellyn. You're just a little ahead of time. Yeah. Here, Leroy, what are you doing?
Me? Oh, I just thought I'd see what's in this package Piggy Banks gave me.
But, Leroy, it's marked don't open until Christmas.
Yes. Haven't you any self-control or willpower, young man? Don't you realize that if you opened all your gifts ahead of time, when Christmas morning came around, you wouldn't have a single toy left to break?
But, gee, I caught Marjorie sniffing around the present you gave her, Uncle Mort.
I was not, Leroy.
Mort, too.
I just happened to drop it, and I was afraid it might be perfume.
Oh, yes. Well, it's not perfume. It's a whoops. I almost told you then. Now, both you children stop acting childish. Let me alone while I wrap this present. It's for Fibber McGee. I've already sent Molly McGee a big bottle of perfume, so I better get Fibber McGee's present in the mail for Wistful Vista tonight.
Oh, what did you get for him, Uncle Mort?
Something he needs badly. An electrical pants presser. It's a neat little gadget, isn't it? Although I doubt if it'll make much of an impression on those gunny sacks McGee wears.
You think that's enough of a gift for Mr. McGee?
Why not? Cost me 39 cents at the cut-rate drugstore.
39 cents?
Yeah.
But I thought Mr. McGee was a close friend of yours.
He is, Leroy. He's the closest friend I've got. And I'm not speaking geographically or intimately. I'm speaking financially.
Well, I never knew that.
Well, he isn't exactly tight. He's more of the borrow a tool today and return when rusty type. The more I think about the things McGee has borrowed, the less I think of him. Who does he imagine he is? The doorbell? I mean the doorbell. It's ringing. Yeah, I'll get it. Yes?
Is this the domicile of Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve?
It is.
This is it, Shorty. Okay, lift.
Hey, this is plenty heavy. Hey, where do you want this box, mister?
Put it right down here for now. What's in it, mister?
Just keep your shirt on, will you, buddy?
Oh,
All right, ready, Spike?
Yeah, let's get this over with.
All right.
A 1, a 2, a 3.
Oh, Gildersleeve, oh, Gildersleeve, a Merry Christmas to you. Oh, Gildersleeve, oh, Gildersleeve, are you old tide, hallelujah. We brung a great big gift, you see, from Wistful Vista's Fibber McGee. Oh, Gildersleeve, oh, Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve, please sign here on the dotted line.
Well, singing expressman, eh?
Yeah. We are something in the nature of an experiment.
Oh, I see. You're doing it for the company to see if it's satisfactory, yeah?
Oh, no, we're doing it for the men to see if it's remunerative.
Oh, yes, I get it. Well, here you are, boys. A dime for each of you.
A dime.
Why, Spike, this guy ain't got no respect for music.
Yeah, but he sure got a lot of respect for money.
Wow. I never saw a box so hard to get open.
Oh.
It must have taken me an hour. Yeah. Now to see what Fibber McGee has sent me.
What is it, Uncle Mort?
Huh?
Gee, another box.
Yeah?
And all done up with Christmas wrappings and stuff.
Oh, my goodness. Hand me the hatchet again, Leroy.
Oh, no, Unc. Can't you see what it says?
Where? Oh, don't open till Christmas. And this means you, guilty old snoop. McGee never means what he says. The hatchet, please, Leroy.
But, Uncle Mort, where's your willpower?
Yes, and how about your self-control?
Oh, they're fine. It's my curiosity that's got the best of me. Oh, gee, let me take one little peek, will you, huh?
Now who's acting childish, Uncle Mort?
You're right, Marjorie. I wasn't setting you a good example. Hand me some of that ribbon, and I'll get this pants presser off to my old chum. Oh, what am I saying? I can't send McGee this dinky little present now.
Why not?
Because that box probably contains a large, valuable gift for me. And alongside of it, my cheap little crease iron will look like, 39 cents.
What do you think you should do, Uncle?
I better go right downtown and get him something better.
Oh, I think that's very nice of you, Uncle Mort.
It sure is.
I think so, too. Now, in order to get an idea of how much McGee spent so I won't spend any more, don't you think I should take one quick little look as to what he sent me?
No.
All right, I was just suggesting.
Say, if you're going downtown, you better hurry up. It's getting late and the stores are awfully overcrowded.
Oh, I won't have any trouble. Get your cap and coat, Leroy.
I'll be right with you, Unc.
Are you taking Leroy through those mobs with you?
Yes, Marjorie. He and I have worked out a wonderful system for Christmas shopping. Haven't we, Leroy?
I'll say.
What kind of a system?
It's called the angle worm formation. Leroy goes ahead and figures out an angle, and I worm my way through.
Gee, Uncle Mort, this is certainly a ritzy store.
Yes. Haven't I always said that the best is none too good for Fibber McGee?
Well, how do you do, sir? What will it be?
I'm looking for a present for a friend.
Do you think he might like a half-dozen imported cravats?
Say, Unc, what's a cravat?
A cravat is a necktie that sells for $5, Leroy. No, I'd like to get him a more substantial gift. Oh, here's something. Maybe he'd like a dressing gown or a robe, huh?
Why, yes, we have some lovely ones. Say, in the neighborhood of $100.
Have you got anything in a cheaper neighborhood?
Well, here are a few in the vicinity of $60.
Oh, yes. This brown silk one would be exactly the right thing. If you have it in a smaller size and some other color and a different material and a little less expensive.
Well, then I'll have to go back in the stockroom and see what we have there. If you'll just wait a moment.
Don't worry. Yes. Quit trying on those derbies, Leroy. You can never tell who wore them before you did.
But I only wanted to see how I looked in one, Unc.
How can you see when they come down to your nose on you? Now, just stand still.
Oh, just the sort of person I'm looking for. Oh, excuse me, sir, but there's a little favor I'd like to ask of you.
Certainly, madam. What can I do for you?
Well, do you see that man standing over there at the sweater counter?
Oh, you mean the funny-looking gent with the bat wing ears and the dirty look? Has he been annoying you?
No, he's my husband.
Oh, he is? Oh, well, I didn't mean that nice-looking chap. I was talking about the one in the checkered overcoat standing next to him. The fat guy that looks like a cross between a scow and a barge.
That's the one who's my husband, sir.
Oh.
You see, I want to surprise him with this pretty blue robe for Christmas.
Oh.
But I don't know if it's the right size for him, so I thought that being that you two are of the same build...
What? Do you think I'm as tubby as that tubby?
Oh, now, please, I don't want him to suspect a thing.
Why don't you help the lady out, Uncle Mort?
Huh? Yes, why not? Here, let me have it, madam. Hold it up, Leroy.
Okay.
Thanks.
Oh, this is so nice of you, really.
Not at all. Would you care to have me parade up and down like one of those models?
No, thank you. Now, just tie the belt.
There.
Oh, there. Now, turn around, please.
Yeah?
Oh, dear.
What's wrong? Is my slip showing?
Well, either I picked the wrong size or else you're stouter than my husband.
No, see here, lady.
Well, we can soon see. I have a tape measure here in my bag somewhere.
Tape measure?
I know Leo's size.
Oh.
Let me see. Oh, yes, here it is. Now, if you'll just put your arms up, I'll flip this tape around your waist and find out what size.
Hey! What are you doing with your arms around that man?
Oh, my goodness.
Huh?
You mustn't find out about the surprise.
What?
Pretend that you're my cousin George.
I said, why are you hugging this fella, Fanny?
Oh, Leo, it's Cousin George. I haven't seen him for years. You don't blame me for being glad to see my own cousin, do you?
No, not at all. Glad to meet you, George.
The pleasure's all mine.
Voice still changing, huh?
Yeah.
Well, George, Fanny's told me all about you, but I always picked you as a different man.
Well, I was a different man up till quite recently.
Oh, it's just too bad that Cousin George is just passing through town and can't stop over for a visit.
Huh?
Aren't you, Cousin George?
Who? Oh, me? Oh, yes, Cousin George. I just happened to be driving.
Driving? I thought you hated automobiles.
Do I?
Yeah, didn't the automobile ruin your horse collar business?
Oh, I don't know, did it? Oh, yes, of course. But I'm not one to hold a grudge.
You're not?
Well, not more than 20 years, anyway.
Say, that reminds me. What's happened to Francis these days?
Francis? Oh, he's all right.
He? Since when is Francis a he?
I mean, she's just dandy. I talked to her long distance only last night.
Talk to her? How can you talk long distance to a horse?
Well, you picked... Oh, that Francis. Yeah. I thought you meant the other Francis. You know the one I mean, don't you, Cousin Fanny?
Of course. Your wife.
Yeah. My what?
I never knew you were married, George, old boy.
Oh, well, it's all sort of a secret. We eloped to Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls. Boy, that's a hot one.
What's so hot about Niagara Falls?
Well, Leo just thinks it's funny that you'd elope to Niagara Falls when you've lived right there all your life.
Oh, my goodness. Sorry, I can't stand around here, folks. I've got to catch a train.
What about your automobile?
I hate him again. Come on, Leroy.
I'm coming, Pappy.
So that was your cousin George, Fanny, and you got the nerve to criticize my...
Oh, dear.
Wait a minute, Uncle Mort. Where are we going?
Out. Let's get away from there before that gorilla gets hep.
But if you'll just...
He'll wring my neck. How do I manage to get into such affairs?
It was Cousin Fanny that did it. Where are you taking me, Uncle Mort?
As far away as our chubby little legs will carry us. Now, don't dilly-dally, Leroy.
But, gee, Unc, you can't scram like this.
I can't, huh? Why not? By George, it was a lucky thing I kept calm and cool all through that encounter.
But, Uncle Mort...
What have you been but Uncle Morting about, Leroy? Come out with it.
I've been trying to tell you all along. We've got to go back to the store.
Why?
You're still wearing that baby blue bathrobe.
Oh!
There they are now, Mr. Llewellyn.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Uncle Mort. Hello, Leroy.
Hello.
Oh. Did you get something nice for Mr. McGee?
No, we had a terrible time. I haven't been pushed around so much since my baby carriage days.
Gosh, you never saw so many places out of so much stuff that so many people wanted so bad.
What sort of present were you looking for?
Well, Llewellyn, something unusual and expensive that he doesn't have already.
Yeah. Uncle Mort almost got a dandy baby blue bathrobe, but after he took it outside to see how it looked in the daylight, he took it back.
Yeah. Well, we'll go down and try it again tomorrow. Maybe you'll come along, Marjorie, to help me. Say, there's something missing in this room.
I was wondering how long it would be before you noticed the difference.
Well, what is it? Come, Llewellyn, don't be coy. What have you done?
I took Mr. McGee's present, wagged it out of here, and walked it in the wampus room closet.
You did, eh? And why did you do that?
Oh, just so you could resist opening it before Christmas.
Well, that took a lot of nerve.
Oh, no, it just took a lot of strength. Believe me, before I was through, I bitterly regretted starting the whole proposition. Willie, I was a wreck.
Yes, Mr. Llewellyn worked quite hard.
Llewellyn, the next time you poke your probing proboscis into my personal affairs, I'm going to take a swing at it.
What was that, Mr. Gildersleeve?
If you fool around with something that's no skin off your nose, why, by George, it will be.
Oh, please, Mr. Gildersleeve, don't lose your temper.
Who's losing their temper?
But you're raising your voice.
Who's raising their voice?
You're just angry because I hid your present.
Oh, is that so? I suppose you know everything that's going on in my mind.
Yep. I can read you like a dictionary.
Yes. If you can read me like a dictionary, why don't you turn to the letter D and under discharged? You'll find that's where you are.
Why, Mr. Gildersleeve, what do you mean?
I mean that you're fired, dismissed, finished, sacked. Now, do you understand?
Well, all right. If that's the way you feel. Goodbye. Goodbye, Miss Marjorie.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Leroy.
Goodbye, Mr. Llewellyn.
What's he getting so huffy about? I never saw such an excitable fellow in all my life. But the man has got no Christmas spirit, making me fire him right before the holidays.
Hey, he didn't get us paid, did he, Uncle Mort?
By Jove, that's right. You better run after him, Leroy, and tell him to come back for his money.
Okay, Uncle Mort.
And Leroy.
Yes, Unc?
Tell him if he behaves himself, he can come back to work.
Sure.
He had no right getting me all worked up after a hard day's shopping. I'm not an unreasonable man, am I, Marjorie?
Of course not, Uncle Mort.
Yeah, I'm just as nice as the next man. Sometimes nicer, too.
I couldn't see him anywhere, Uncle Mort.
You mean he's gone?
Well, it was snowing rather hard.
Oh, jumping jeeps. I've turned him out into the cold with only a thin mackintosh.
Oh, now don't you worry, Uncle Mort. Just call him at his hotel tomorrow after you've both cooled off.
Yes, of course. Oh, I can't do that. I don't know where he lives. Do either of you?
No, I don't think so.
Not me.
Oh, my goodness. I'm a cad. I'm a bounder. No, not a bounder, just a cad. I won't be able to look myself in the face the next time I shave. What'll I do?
Say, maybe Bertie knows where he lives.
Oh, yes, Bertie. Maybe she does. I'll go find out. Bertie?
Yes, sir?
Do you know where... Llewellyn, what are you doing here?
Oh, just eating my supper, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh! Going down?
Hey, wait a minute!
No use, Leroy. They're booking passage on those elevators a couple of days in advance. Let's wander into the furniture department.
Well, we've looked every place else for a present. Maybe we'll find something there.
Yeah. I wasn't thinking about Fibber McGee's present, Marjorie. I only wanted to rest. My feet ache clear up to my shoulder blades.
Oh, poor Uncle Mort.
Yeah.
Look, here's a nice big leather chair.
Huh?
Try it, why don't you?
Oh, thank you. I will. Very comfortable. Now, if I could only take my shoes off, but there I go, daydreaming again.
Say, look at the buttons on the arm of this chair.
Huh?
I wonder what this one does.
Oh. Help me. The chair is now a bed.
Oh, Leroy, now look what you've done. Gee, the back goes down and the bottom comes up. Here, I'll give you a hand, Unc.
You know, on second thought, this is so nice, I think I'll take 40 winks. Wake me up in 1942, will you?
Uncle, you can't sleep there.
Oh, yes, I can. Watch me. Say, this is certainly a great invention.
Now, I wonder what this button does.
You spoiled everything. It's a chair again.
How do, folks? Interested in the Snorwell reclining chair?
Oh, is that what it is? Well, mighty cozy little one-man couch.
And an ideal Christmas present for father, husband, friend, or boss.
Uncle McGee, how about it?
Yes, Uncle McGee, how about it?
Yes. See, that's not a bad idea. In fact, it's the best one I've had so far.
Let me tell you about some of the Snorwell features.
Oh.
3 comfy, cuddly positions.
Yes?
Sitting, snoozing, and sleeping. Made of the toughest bull leather. Overstuffed, underslung. Why, you couldn't be more tickled if you bought a feather bed.
Huh?
Buy one for the rest of your life. Catch on?
Yes.
Oh, brother. Now, there's a salesman.
What do you think, Uncle Mort?
Well, how much is it?
$39.95. That's without any of the accessories and attachments, of course.
Oh,
You mean it's got attachments like a vacuum cleaner?
Yes, sir. The Snorwell is the first fully mechanized chair.
Well, I'm interested now. This is for a friend of mine who is rather mechanically minded.
Yes?
Yes, he invented an illuminated sundial once. For cloudy days, you know.
Huh?
No, you wouldn't know.
Let me show you these features.
Huh?
Here's the overhead reading lamp, also dandy for shaving.
Yes.
Then we have a combination ashtray and cigar lighter that appears and disappears at the touch of a button.
What does it do with the ashes? Dump them under the rug?
We also have an electric clock and a compartment for sandwiches with a tank for ice water.
Gee, it does everything but sing you to sleep.
Yeah.
It'll do that, too.
What?
For $24 more, we'll put a little radio inside the headrest.
My goodness, if you tack a mailbox on the side of this chair, you could live in it. Oh, this one seems a little damaged. Look at this crack in it.
Crack?
Yeah.
That is no crack.
What?
It's a slot for old razor blades.
Gosh, do you know, Uncle, the more I hear about it, the more I'm convinced that this is just the present for Mr. McGee.
So am I. Young man, how much would one cost with all the accessories?
Well, the Super Deluxe Shoot the Works model sells for $119.95.
Oh, my dear. But what do you think, children?
Oh, yes, take it. What do you got to lose?
$119.95. Well, I guess I'll do it just the same.
Gee, I knew I'd sell one of these someday.
What?
Where is it to be delivered, sir?
It goes to Fibber McGee, 79 Wistful Vista. Yeah. Can you have it delivered there before Christmas?
Yes, sir. We can send it out by express this afternoon.
Yeah, good. Charge it to Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve. Here's my card.
Thank you, Mr. Gildersleeve, and season's greetings.
Yeah. Merry Christmas to you. Come on, you two. We can go home now. Certainly is a load off my... Well, hello, Judge Hooker. Christmas shopping, I see.
Oh, hello, Gildersleeve. How are you, Marjorie?
Just fine, Judge Hooker. Season's greetings, Judge.
Thank you. You all look so happy there can only be one reason.
Yeah?
You've just finished buying the last of your holiday gifts.
Yes, that's it. And it certainly was a humdinger.
Yes, sir. It was for...
Leroy, let's keep it a secret. It was for a certain very good friend of mine, Judge.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, a real pal, you know. Well, we'll be seeing you. Come on, children. Let's make another try for the elevator.
Say, could that present be for me? After all, I have been a pal to him. I'd just like to know. Young man.
Yes, sir?
My friend who was just here, he told me what he bought, but it slipped my mind. What was it again?
Oh, it was a present. A Snorwell reclining chair with $80 worth of accessories.
Well, that must be for me. Gildersleeve broke the springs in my best lounge chair, and now he's making up for it. Say, now I'll have to get him something better than that flashlight I bought him for Christmas. Thank you, young man. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Gee whiz. So that's Fibber McGee.
What's that? Sounds like something's going on in this house. Sounds like somebody's raising a rumpus in the rumpus room. I'm going to investigate. I don't know why I'm so brave. In fact, I don't know if I'm so brave. I better stop here in the kitchen first. Now I feel better. Peculiar how much confidence a couple of carving knives gives a lady. Stop what you doing. I got you surrounded. I got you covered.
Bertie, what are you doing here at this time of the night?
Oh, Mr. Gilsleeve. Oh, my goodness. I thought it was a burglar.
Yep.
Oh, my stars in the firmament. That was a burglar.
Huh?
What's that all chopped up, Mr. Gilsleeve?
Oh, chopped up? Oh, well, that's the present Mr. McGee sent me.
Oh, then that means there wasn't no burglar nohow.
Huh?
Honest or truly, Mr. Gilsleeve, you ought to be ashamed of yourself scaring folks at 3 a.m. in the morning and sneaking around in your pajamas, snooping at your Christmas presents ahead of time. Lucky I caught you before you got it open. Now, you go on back to bed.
Yeah, but Bertie.
Go on now, get. You understand what that is?
No.
You know what you is?
No, what?
You is a problem uncle, that's what.
Is
Good
it?
night.
Oh, Judge Hooker, yes. Come right in, Judge.
I'm still a few days early, but I couldn't wait. Merry Christmas, Gildersleeve.
Well, and what's this?
Oh, just a little present I picked out for you, Gildy, old pal.
For me? Oh, what is it, Judge?
Set of matched golf clubs in a leather bag.
Oh, Judge, you shouldn't have done it. By the way, I've got something for you.
Oh, no. Why, I didn't expect anything.
Well, it isn't very much.
Oh, I bet it isn't.
Yeah. I had it right here in the hall.
Yeah?
Oh, yes, here it is. This little box.
Huh? This little box?
Huh?
Oh. Oh, thank you very much, Gildy.
Oh, won't you come in and look at our tree, Judge?
No, I've got to be getting along now. I feel a headache coming on.
Oh.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, and thanks for the wonderful present, old pal.
Welcome. Goodbye.
Yeah. Say, Marjorie, look at the dandy golf outfit Judge Hooker gave me for Christmas.
Oh, look at that. It's beautiful. What did you give him, Uncle Mort?
The pants presser I almost sent to McGee.
Hey, will you two come into the rumpus room?
Oh, sure. Come on, Marjorie. What is it, Leroy?
Look at this. Somebody tried to get into the box Fibber McGee sent Uncle Mort. Oh, why, yeah. Chips and splinters all around, and holes in the box. Why, who could have done it, Uncle?
A mice. Hey, we better take a look inside to see if it's damaged any.
But it's still 4 days till Christmas, Uncle.
Well, but who knows what's happened to it? We better act quickly. Let me have that hatchet. Thank you. Of course, you know I'd never open it under ordinary circumstances. There. Put the lid someplace, Leroy. Well, everything's all right so far. At last. I'm so excited I can hardly tear off the wrappings. Now we can see what we can see. What's this? Oh, a card. Dear Chum Gildy. Oh, good old Fibber. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And here's your old lawnmower back. Signed, Fibber McGee.
The great Gildersleeve will be with us again in a few minutes. You know, people who won't try new things certainly miss a lot. Yes, you just can't know whether you really like something or not until you actually try it yourself. That's why I urge everyone to try delicious Parquet margarine, made by Kraft. Because you're really missing something if you haven't tried this truly modern margarine. First of all, you're missing the delicate, appetizing flavor that makes Parquet margarine outstanding. Why, Americans from coast to coast have found they prefer Parquet margarine because it tastes so good, both for table use and for cooking, too. Secondly, Parquet margarine is an economical source of food values your family needs. Now, that's very important these days. Proper nutrition is essential to national defense. You see, Parquet margarine is wholesome and nutritious. It's one of the best energy foods you could serve. And especially important in the wintertime, Kraft adds 9,000 units of vitamin A to every pound of Parquet, making it a dependable source of this vitamin the year round. Now, with food prices rising, you owe it to yourself to find out how delicious and nourishing economical Parquet margarine is. So don't put it off. Ask your food dealer tomorrow for Parquet, Parkay.
Hand me those pajamas, Leroy.
Here you are.
Thanks. And to think that now that extra shirt, Marjorie.
It's in the bag already, Uncle.
Oh, well, I'll sew him a thing or two.
Excuse me, Uncle Mort, but where are you going?
To Wistful Vista, my dear. I'm going to try and get back my $119 chair before it's delivered to Fibber McGee's house.
You aren't going to be way over Christmas, are you?
Oh, no. I'm just going to be there Tuesday night. And remind me on the way to the station. I've got to stop at the cut-rate drugstore.
What for?
To get McGee another pants presser. Merry Christmas, everybody, and good night.
Original music heard on this program was composed and conducted by William Randolph. This is Jim Bannon speaking for the Kraft Cheese Company and inviting you to be with us again next week at this same time for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
After seeing what McGee sent him, Gildersleeve decided that the first plan was the best. That was the Great Gildersleeve from December 21st, 1941. We'll open our third gift from Casey, crime photographer, right after this message from the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV is excited to once again be your host for Colfax High School girls basketball throughout the 2023 through 2024 season. Our next game will be on Tuesday, January 2nd, when the Vikings will travel to St. Croix Central High School to take on the St. Croix Central Panthers. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN-TV begins with Viking pregame at 6:30 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking girls basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 on Tuesday, January 2nd.
Our third Christmas gift to you comes from Casey, crime photographer. The series was also known as Crime Photographer, Flashgun Casey, Press Photographer, Stephen Bristol, and Crime Photographer. It was a media franchise that lasted from the 1930s until the 1960s. Created by crime writer George Harmon Cox, the photographer Casey was featured in radio, film, theater, novels, magazines and comic books, and television. Launched in a 1934 issue of the pulp magazine Black Mask, the character Jack a Flashgunner Casey was a crime photographer for the newspaper The Morning Express. With the help of reporter Ann Williams, portrayed on radio and TV by Jan Miner, he solved crimes and recounted his stories to friends at the Blue Note, their favorite tavern. In this episode, while shopping, Casey and Ann see a known pickpocket steal a wallet from a man who denies his wallet was stolen. So, from December 19, 1946, here is Casey, crime photographer, and Christmas shopping.
The Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation brings you Crime Photographer.
Hey, Ethelbert.
Oh, hello, Casey.
What's Tony Marvin worrying about over there?
Why, he's writing a holiday poem, and he's stuck for something to rhyme with Christmas stocking.
But, Ethelbert, are you kidding?
Certainly not. Oh, you mean Anchor Hocking.
Oh, gee, fellas, that's wonderful. Anchor Hocking, a great name in glass. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Marvin. Every week at this time, the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, and its more than 10,000 employees bring you another adventure of Casey, crime photographer, ace cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Written by Alonzo Dean Cole. Our adventure for tonight, Christmas shopping. Late afternoon, a crowded aisle in one of our city's largest department stores. Making slow headway through the jostling shoppers are...
Casey, I've never seen the store so crowded.
Yeah, we say that every year during the week before Christmas, Annie. Where are you taking me now, huh?
Well, you haven't anything for your Aunt Harriet yet, so I thought we'd look at umbrellas there. On this side of the store somewhere.
Yeah. Annie, look, you can pick up a much nicer umbrella for Aunt Harriet than I can. I trust your judgment, absolutely, Annie. So suppose
I shop for all the uninteresting items while you go up to the toy department and watch the electric trains again.
Well, you know I've still got to pick up a few more things for my sister's kids, Annie. And hey, Annie, wait a minute. Hang on to your pocketbook. Keep an eye on that little guy in the black overcoat just ahead of us.
Who?
That's Fingers Fogarty. One of the best-known dips in the city.
Pickpocket?
Yep. Shove through this mob a little faster, Annie. Now, keep him in sight. I think he's closing in on a prospect.
You mean he's made up his mind about whose pocket he's going to pick?
Sure. Smart dips like Fingers don't dive into just anybody's pocket. They hang around bars and wait for some guy to flash a roll. And they tail him. And if he gets into a crowd like this... Look, Fogarty's doing his stuff now, Annie.
No.
Yeah. That big fat guy he just bumped into. Fingers took a wallet from his inside pocket.
Well, I didn't see him.
Neither did the fat guy. Fingers is a smooth worker. Come on. You'll feel very badly when we stop his special brand of Christmas shopping, but pocket picking is considered antisocial. I've got to get Mr. Fogarty.
Well, he squeezed through the crowd. I can't see him anymore.
Neither can I.
Look, Casey, yell out for somebody to stop him.
Oh, well, I yell, stop thief.
Well, you can't let him get away.
He won't get away. Every cop in this precinct knows Fingers. He'll be picked up quick after a charge is brought against him. I'll help that guy who lost his wallet bring the charge.
Yes, if you appear as a witness.
I will.
There's the fat man.
Excuse me, mister.
Huh?
Something happened to you a minute ago that I don't think you know about.
What do you mean?
Your pocket was picked.
My pocket?
Yeah. A little guy bumped into you, and as he did, I saw his hand go into your inside pocket and come out with a wallet. Well, I happen to know who he is, and when you report your loss to the cops, I'll be glad...
You're mistaken, mister. I didn't lose my wallet.
Huh? I'm sure.
I'm more sure.
I tell you, I saw him.
When a guy sees something that couldn't be seen, he's either goofy or drunk. On your way, fella.
Well, I'll be...
Good thing you didn't get your hands on Fingers Fogarty. He could have
this?
plastered you with a nice suit for false arrest.
And I know he took a wallet from that fat guy's pocket. I was watching every move that Fingers made.
Well, I was watching him, too, and I didn't see him take anything. And that fat man says he didn't lose a wallet, so...
Okay, I'm goofy or drunk.
Well, maybe you only need glasses.
Well, I do after this. Several glasses. Let's head for the Blue Note.
You and Casey get your Christmas shopping done this afternoon, Miss Williams?
Well, I accomplished quite a lot, Ethelbert, but not Casey. He got sore, and after that, nothing would please him.
What'd you get sore about, pal?
Nothing.
Oh, he had a little eye trouble.
Oh, gee, that's too bad. Did you see spots floating in front of you, Casey?
My eyes are okay. Now fill that glass up again, Ethelbert, and don't ask so many silly questions.
Mine too, Ethelbert.
Right away, Miss Williams.
Oh, now, Casey, don't you think it's about time you snapped out of your grouch?
Well,
it's pretty silly to get yourself all burned up just because you made a mistake.
I didn't make a mistake, Annie. Fingers Fogarty took a wallet from that fat guy's pocket. What burns me up is I didn't find out why the fat guy denied it.
Well, how could you have found out?
Oh, I don't know. But I'm supposed to be a newspaper guy, Annie. Well, we may have missed a story with pictures.
Here's your refreshment, folks.
Oh, thanks, Ethelbert.
Say, have you stopped into your office since you finished shopping?
Hey, bartender, who's the boss here?
Well, what do you want?
You want to buy a nice Christmas tree?
You got some nice ones?
A wagon full of them, fresh from Nova Scotia.
Let's see one.
Well, I'll be right back.
Say, Casey, have you two stopped in at your office since you finished your shopping?
Certainly not. This is our day off.
Then you ain't heard the big news yet.
What big news?
One of your police reporters, Jake Birkin, was in a few minutes ago and tipped me off about it. Gee, was all excited.
What happened, Ethelbert?
About half an hour ago, the cops arrested the kidnapper and murderer of Gregory Walters.
They did?
Where?
Well, where'd they get him?
Well, like you know, before the Walters family paid over that $50,000 ransom to the kidnapper, the FBI made a list of the serial numbers on the bills, which they circulated all over the country.
Of course, we know all that, Ethelbert.
How's this tree, mister? Nice and bushy, huh?
Let's see one a little taller.
A little taller, okay.
Ethelbert, will you tell us about that kidnapper?
Well, I'm getting to it.
Well, come on.
Well, a guy walks into a tavern over on 36th Street tonight, orders a drink, and hands a barkeep a $20 bill with one of them hot numbers on it. The barkeep checks the number, calls a cop, and when the cop searched the guy, he found about $500 more of the ransom dough in his pocket.
Well, Ethelbert, who is the guy who had the ransom dough? The cops identified him yet?
Well, they knew him as soon as they laid eyes on him.
But, Ethelbert, who is he? Please.
Hey. Is this tree big enough, mister?
Let's see. Well, let's see one a little thicker around the bottom.
Thicker around the bottom.
Ethelbert, will you please
Casey
tell
and
us?
I know him. He's always been a small-time crook, and I was surprised to learn he was mixed up with anything so big as kidnapping and murder.
Oh, say, will you tell us?
I am telling you. It's that little runt, Fingers Fogarty.
Fingers Fogarty?
Yeah, the dip.
He had Walter's ransom dough on him?
About $500, just like I said. Naturally, Fingers denies having anything to do with the kidnapping. He said he lifted the dough out of the pocket of a guy who was Christmas shopping in S.J. Franken's department store.
Franken's?
Around 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Casey Franken.
And that fat guy denied he's been robbed.
Do you think he was the
Oh, I
one?
can't see Fingers as a kidnapper. He's always been just a slimy little sneak thief.
Hey, what's this about a fat guy, Casey?
Annie, come on. We're going to tell Logan what happened in Franken's.
Well, what did happen,
Well, never mind.
Casey?
You'll hear it later, Ethelbert. So long.
So long. Hey, is this one big enough for you, mister?
I tell them two a whole complete news story in 2 short words, then they run off and leave me out on a limb.
What limb? Too big?
Oh, you? Oh, no, we've got to have a really big tree.
You think Fingers Fogarty may be just the victim of circumstances, Casey. Circumstances peculiar to his profession.
Miss Williams and I have told you what happened, Logan. You can add it up.
Captain, have you got anything on Fogarty outside of the $500 found in his pocket?
Not yet, Miss Williams. The joint he lives in is being searched, but we don't think he was chump enough to hide the rest of his ransom money there.
Well, if he lifted the 5 C's from that fat guy, he has no rest of the dough to hide.
Now, look, Casey. Fingers Fogarty knows you pretty well, doesn't he?
Yeah, sure, he knows me, certainly.
Now, hasn't it occurred to you that he may have put on an act for your benefit?
I don't get you.
Now, let's assume that Fingers is the real kidnapper. It's been over a year since the ransom money was paid. Fingers has been careful. He hasn't tried to pass any of the 50 grand because he knows it's red hot. But now he figures the heat has died down, so he sends up a trial balloon.
How do you mean trial balloon?
Well, he's got a record as a dip, Miss Williams. He figures if he gets caught passing that dough, we'll believe that he lifted the money from a guy's pocket. And to cinch it, he acts like he's lifting it from a guy's pocket while Casey is watching him. He picked you for his star witness, pal.
Logan, Hasn't it occurred to you that the fat guy might have been sending up that trial balloon?
Huh? What do you mean?
Assume the fat guy is the real kidnapper. And he wants to know how safe it is to pass those ransom bills. He knows that Fingers is a pickpocket. Well, he goes to one of the little runt's hangouts and flashes a roll in front of him. And then he leaves the joint, saunters into a crowded store where it'll be easy for Fingers to work, and Fingers does exactly what's expected of him.
That's a reasonable theory, Captain.
Well, sure. If Fingers gets caught passing that dough, the kidnapper learns about it from the papers and continues to let the money cool off. Also, Fingers has a long record. You cops won't believe anything he tells you. You'll tag him as the Walters kidnapper, which will leave the real one sitting pretty. The only thing the real kidnapper didn't figure was that someone might see Fingers take his wallet.
Well, maybe you got something there, Casey. You and Miss Williams have never seen that fat guy before?
Mm-hmm. No, but we'll know him if we see him again, though.
Definitely.
Your description might fit 1,000 guys in this town. I want you two to go up to the record room and look at some pictures we've got in the files.
Oh, great. That'll only take us about 4 or 5 hours, Logan.
Oh, Casey. And this was to have been our night off.
Perhaps you'll forgive this last-minute reminder, but there are now exactly 4 more shopping days until Christmas. That means a very real problem to those of us who like to put things off, as who doesn't? Is there anyone you've overlooked? Anyone to whom you want to give something beautiful, practical, and inexpensive? Well, you'll find the answer in Fire King oven glass. Whether it's a single Fire King casserole or an entire set of Fire King oven glass, prices are unbelievably low, and it'll take a minimum of shopping time at your favorite chain, variety, hardware, or department store. So remember, with housekeeping a real problem in this post-war era, Fire King oven glass is a gift that makes it easier in so many ways, because Fire King makes foods go farther and enables you to turn leftovers into delicious main courses. Fire King oven glass is a product of Anchor Hocking. A great name in glass.
Oh, I don't recognize any picture here, Logan.
Oh, me either. Oh, golly. Captain, why don't you have some good-looking crooks in your files? I'm going to have nightmares looking at pictures of so many ugly men.
You should see the women.
Logan, you know, there's one picture here that bothers me. It resembles the guy a lot, but well, look at the description that goes with it.
Nick Pensa, Woolstock Prison, discharged 1944, armed robbery. Age 30, height 5 feet. Well, you said your fat guy was a 6-footer and at least 45 years old.
Yeah. He weighed a good 250 plus, too. This Nick Pence's weight is given as only 135.
Well, they can't be the same man, then.
No, not a chance. Funny, though, there is a resemblance.
We need more than that. Let's all go home and get some sleep.
Me for that.
Me, too. I'm so tired I can't think.
I'm falling over. I'll murder anybody who wakes me up before noon tomorrow. Oh, no, thank you. No, thanks. Oh. Hello.
Morning, Annie.
Who's this?
Wake up, kid. It's Casey.
Casey? Oh, Casey.
Yeah, Casey, you remember me, don't you?
Yes, I do, and it's only 9 o'clock, and what is the big idea?
Annie, look. I think I know where to look for that fat guy.
You do?
I certainly do. The old bean wasn't working last night. But when I woke up a few minutes ago, I had it. The strong resemblance between that young half-pint crook, Nick Pensa, and our big, fat, 45-year-old guy can't be just coincidental, Annie. They must be relatives, maybe brothers.
Go
well,
on.
I've looked in the phone book and found only one Pensa listed, John Pensa, contractor, who lives and does business out on Dudley Road. I thought you might like to drive out there with me and see what John Pensa looks like.
Why don't you have the cops go out and look at him?
Annie, you're not awake yet. Only you and I can identify that fat guy. Besides, if you and I find him, Annie, we get an exclusive. The cops are in on it. Every paper in town will have
Well,
it.
I'm awake now, all right. Where'll I meet you?
I'll be outside your door with a car in 15 minutes.
Casey, I've got to dress.
We'll make it a half an hour then.
We'll make it a full hour and no sooner.
Well, what are you going to dress, yourself or a Christmas tree? Listen, Annie, I can bathe, shave, and get into my clothes in 10 minutes.
I put on underwear. Goodbye.
We're getting close to that address, Annie.
Yeah. This isn't a very attractive neighborhood.
No. John Pence, a contractor, can't be much of a concern.
And John Pence, a contractor, may be no relation whatever to the Nick Pence in the police files.
The name's very unusual, Ann. I have a hunch.
Uh-oh. There's the place.
Yeah. I'll stop here so we can look the joint over.
Well, there's a concrete garage attached to the house with a good-sized truck inside and room for another.
Concrete mixer in the workyard.
Oh, Casey, established businessmen don't go in for kidnapping. I think we're on a wild goose chase.
Annie, that guy coming out of the garage.
What about him? He's just a skinny little...
Annie, you need glasses and a more photographic memory.
He's the man of that police picture.
Of course, Nick Pence. Now I know my hunch was right.
He's looking over here.
Well, he's never seen us before, but I'll get rolling anyway.
Now, how can we find out if he has a fat brother?
Well, drop into one of these neighborhood stores and make a few inquiries.
Then what?
Well, how can I tell until I find out what I hope to find out? Annie, you're the darndest girl for asking questions. You really are. Now, let's stop there. Well, we'll stop here. We'll go into this little drugstore right here. The druggist usually knows everybody in the neighborhood. Come on.
Okay, but I think it would be simpler and more sensible to make inquiries at the precinct police station.
I don't want the cops in on this until we know where we stand. Here, let me do the talking.
It's your party, wise guy. You handle everything.
What can I do for you young people?
Hello, Pop. We're going to have, what kind of ice cream soda do you want, Annie?
If I must have an ice cream soda, chocolate.
Chocolate. Same for me.
2 chocolate sodas.
That's right. Oh, by the way, I'm looking for a party in this neighborhood by the name of Pence, sir. I imagine you know the family well.
Pencer?
Yeah.
Never heard the name before.
You never heard of it?
Change my order to raspberry.
Yes, miss. 1 raspberry. I'm just a stranger here. Come down from upstate to handle this place while my son's away hunting. Maybe my granddaughter can tell you what you want to know. Say, Katie.
Yes, Grandpa?
Come here. Fella's looking for a party by the name of Penner.
Penner?
No, not Penner. Pencer.
Oh, I know the Pences. All of them.
You do? That's swell. Eh?
Mr. Pence lives down the street.
Uh-huh.
Over his office. He's a contractor.
What's he look like? Is he,
Mr. Pence is short and skinny, and his first name's Nick.
well, Nick Pence is not the contractor.
Yes, he is. Ever since he got out of prison a couple of years ago.
You say somebody's gone to prison, Katie?
No, Grandpop. They've come out.
That serves him right, then.
The man's reformed now.
Oh, that's bad, very bad.
Grandpop's a little deaf.
Yeah, I can see that. Sister, I understand that my friend, Nick, has a brother or a cousin.
No.
Maybe an uncle?
No.
Here's the sodas. Who gets your raspberry?
He does.
Here you are, mister.
Thanks.
And Mr. Casey, you have earned it.
Sister, you mean Mr. Nick Pencer has no relatives at all?
He's got a sister and a nephew.
Oh, that's a great help.
How old's the nephew? About 10?
No, ma'am. It's the funniest thing. Mr. Gus Pence is a lot older than his uncle.
Huh?
Mr. Gus is Mr. Nick's partner, I think. And he comes in here all the time.
What does Mr. Gus Pencer look like?
Well, he's tall and fat, and in the face he looks like Mr. Nick.
Annie, give me that chocolate. You take the raspberry.
Here's Mr. Gus now.
Oh, Casey.
He's our fat guy.
Mr. Gus, these people were just asking about you. They're friends of Mr. Nick.
Oh, that's bad.
Is that so?
He recognizes us, Casey.
Yeah.
Wasn't it lucky I dropped in here when I did to find friends of Nick's? Grandpop, go back to your back room and put me up 2 bits worth of turpentine.
2 bits worth of turpentine?
Go along and help him, Sissy. He can never find anything.
I'll show him, Mr. Gus.
You two were asking about me.
You've been told that we were.
I noticed a car outside with a press sign on it. Yours?
Yeah.
And you were looking for me because of what you happened to see in Franken's yesterday.
If I said no, you wouldn't believe me.
Right. This hand in my pocket has a gun in it, mister. So do exactly as I tell you.
Okay.
Remember, and don't pull anything.
Here's a bottle of terps.
Thanks, Grandpop. Here's your 2 bits. Come on with me, folks. You said you wanted to pay Nick a visit.
Casey.
We got no choice, Annie.
Right. So long, Grandpa.
Say, ain't you folks going to finish your sodas?
No, we lost our appetites.
You didn't take even a sip of your raspberry, mister.
That's what you think, sister.
Get into your car. Both in the front seat. You drive, fella. I'll sit in back with this gat.
Where'll I drive to?
Just down the street to next place. Mine. He and I are partners in everything. And he'll be tickled to see your old friend. Turn into the work yard and park in our garage. And next to the truck there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Now what do we do?
You and your boyfriend don't do anything, lady. And to make sure you don't...
You hit Casey with your gun.
And you get the shape. That'll keep the two of you quiet for a while. Nick!
Yeah? What do you want, Gus?
Come into the garage, quick.
Okay. Whose car you got in there?
You'll see. Come inside and help me close these doors.
Okay. Hey. What's the idea?
Take a look inside this car.
Who's the guy and the dame?
They're the two I told you about last night. Saw that dip take the hot dough from my pocket. They got wise to the layout and located us.
They police?
No. These two are newspaper mugs. I figure they were making this play on their own, so we got to take care of them.
We can't bump them off here.
We can. We do it nice, clean, and quiet. Get those big spools of adhesive tape from the house.
What are you going to do?
You'll see. Get that tape.
Yeah. Got the gal all tied up, Gus.
Then help me with this guy.
Yeah.
Wrap some more tape around his ankles.
Okay. Yeah. He's fixed now and solid.
All right. Now climb into that truck and start the motor, Nick.
Oh, the carbon monoxide treatment, huh?
Yeah. Nice, clean, and quiet. We just lock them in this closed garage to breathe the gas. Tonight, when it's dark, we get rid of their bodies in their car. Start the motor.
Ann, I worked the tape off my mouth against that fender. Nod your head if you're okay, kid. Good. I'm going to try to pull the adhesive tape off your wrists with my teeth. I'm getting lightheaded. Gas is beginning to work. I got the tape. Now pull and turn your wrists. Pull more, Annie. There, that did it. Your hands are free. Pull the tape off your mouth now. Keep your head down low, kid. Try to hold on.
I will.
Pull this tape off my hands.
You better let me free my ankles first so I can get to that truck and shut off the motor.
No. Free my hands. Those two guys may be just outside where they can hear.
Yes, but if it keeps on running, we'll...
If it doesn't keep on running, we'll have no second chance like this. Free my hands.
All right. I've got the end loose.
Pull now. There, does it. Now, unwind your ankles while I get this stuff off of mine.
What good will it do us? We can't get out of here.
We'll get out. Don't breathe, Judy.
This
Get out.
garage is solid concrete. And I heard them lock those heavy doors when they went out. So...
There, I've got my ankles free. Now, hang on, kid. I'm picking you up.
What are you going to do?
I'm putting you in this truck.
This truck? Why?
It's taking us out of here. Keep your head down.
Okay.
I'm driving through those doors.
Okay, we're through. Pure air.
Wait a minute, look. Also, those two Pensa guys, they heard us.
Listen, they have guns, too. Step on the gas, Casey. Drive past them. Let's get away.
I can't.
You can't. What's the matter?
Stall the motor. Duck, they're shooting.
Oh, why are they running away? They're getting into that car.
They're going to try to get away. If I can only get this motor started again. That did it. Now, come on.
Casey, don't drive toward their car. They'll
I'm
start
driving
shooting.
into their car. This 10-ton truck does a nice job when it hits a tin can like
Oh, Casey. My nerves will never be the same again.
that. I'll never recognize mine either. Come on, let's call City Desk. Get the cops out here so we can get to the Blue Note. I need another pair of glasses. The kind you fill.
Recently, in a big eastern city, a group of trained men and women called on thousands of housewives and asked this simple question. What kind of container do you prefer for the foods you buy? An overwhelming majority of housewives said they preferred to buy food packed in glass. Among them were a great many mothers of small children, and by a ratio of more than 8 to 1, these mothers said they insisted on prepared baby foods packed in glass. They gave many reasons, as you might expect. But here are the 3 reasons mentioned most frequently. First, glass lets you see what you buy before you buy it. Second, you can heat, serve, and store leftover portions of prepared baby food in the same glass container. And third, these young mothers agreed that sterilized glass containers are cleaner and more sanitary. You can buy an increasing number of the better brands of food packed in glass. And all of the better brands of prepared baby food come to you in Anchor glass containers sealed with tamper-proof Anchor vacuum caps. Both products of Anchor Hocking. A great name in glass.
You didn't kill them 2 kidnappers when you threw that truck at them, Casey?
No, Bethelbert, no. The cops pulled him out of the wreckage in fairly good shape, considering.
They'll be able to walk to the chair.
How about the ransom money? Did the cops find it?
Yeah. Gus, the fat guy, confessed the Walters kidnapping and told where he and Nick had hidden the dough.
Gee, and all because you and Miss Williams did some Christmas shopping. Say, what happened to the little dip, Fingers Fogarty?
Well, in trying to clear himself of the kidnap and murder charge, Ethelbert, Fingers made so many admissions about his own specialty that the cops can keep him in jail until 1999.
Gee, 1999, huh?
Good heavens, Casey, what's that coming in the door?
What on earth?
What do you say, mister? That's the biggest tree I got on the wagon, okay?
Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, now that's what I call a real Christmas tree.
Ethelbert, what are you going to do with such a big tree?
Well, you couldn't get a little tree in that big room.
Crime Photographer, starring Stotts Cotsworth as Casey, is brought to you each Thursday at this time by the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation, makers of Fire King Oven Glass. Anchor glass containers, Anchor caps and closures. All products of the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation. A great name in glass. Photographer, directed by John Dietz, is written by Alonzo Dean Cole and is based on the fictional character of Casey, created by George Harmon Cox. The original music is by Archie Blyer, and the program features Miss Leslie Woods as Anne and John Gibson as Ethelbert. Herman Chittison is the Blue Note pianist. Thursday night on CBS is the biggest show in town, so stay tuned for exciting dramatizations on Reader's Digest Radio Edition, which follows immediately over most of these stations. Now, for our sponsor, the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation, and all of us on the show, this is Tony Marvin, wishing every one of you a joyful and happy holiday at this Christmas time. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
So Casey, along with reporter and Williams, go Christmas shopping and end up buying more than just Christmas gifts. They also picked up a kidnapping solution. Our fourth and final gift comes from Gunsmoke, and we'll have that for you right after this message from the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
You're tuned to the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. We use advertising revenue to make this service available to you. If you have a business and would like to get your message out to our ever-increasing audience, give us a call at 715-563-1749. We'll be happy to discuss our budget-friendly advertising packages with you. Get your business noticed on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV by calling 715-563-1749.
Our final package to unwrap comes from the radio series, Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke was both a radio and television Western drama series created by director Norman Macdonald and writer John Meston. Macdonald and Meston wanted to create a radio Western for adults, in contrast to the prevailing juvenile fare such as The Lone Ranger and The Cisco Kid. Gunsmoke was set in Dodge City, Kansas, during the thriving cattle days of the 1870s. The radio series first aired on CBS on April 26, 1952 with the episode Billy the Kid, written by Walter Newman, and ended on June 18, 1961. The show stars William Conrad as Marshal Matt Dillon, Howard McNear as Doc Charles Adams, Georgia Ellis as Kitty Russell, and Parley Bear as Dillon's assistant, Chester Wesley Proudfoot. The series is commonly regarded as one of the finest radio dramas of all time. The television version ran from 1955 to 1975 and is the longest-running primetime drama and the second longest-running primetime fictional program in U.S. television history. Gunsmoke was often a somber program, particularly in its early years. Episodes were aimed at adults and featured some of the most explicit content of their time, including violent crimes, scalpings, massacres, and opium addicts. Many episodes ended on a somber note, and villains often got away with their crimes. In this episode, Marshal Dillon finds himself on foot on the open plains after his horse broke a leg. He had about 40 miles to walk before getting to Dodge City when he ran into a strange rider and his strange horse. The stranger was curious about Christmas in Dodge City. So now, from December 20th, 1952, here's Gunsmoke and the Christmas Story.
Around Dodge City and in the territory on west, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with the U.S. Marshal and the smell of gun smoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad. The story of the violence that moved west with young America. The story of a man who moved with it. Matt Dillon, United States Marshal.
Everything was all right until about a mile north of the Cimarron. That's when my horse got a hoof caught in a frozen dog hole and broke his leg. So I had to shoot him. It made me feel awful bad. I didn't feel any better thinking about the walk ahead of me. Close to 40 miles to Dodge and carrying my saddle all the way. Guess I'd been on the trail about an hour. Near as I could figure, it was around 3 in the afternoon. And I had to ease the saddle off my shoulders for a rest and a smoke. And that's when I saw the stranger riding up from the way I'd come. He was tall and thin, and his horse was taller and even thinner. And they made quite a pair.
Hi.
How are you?
You lost?
No. My horse busted his leg a way back. I'm on my way to Dodge.
Oh, it's your house, huh? I saw it.
Yeah.
On your way to Dodge, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
You got any more of that tobacco?
Yeah, sure. Here you are.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
That's okay.
Kind of a big walk you've got ahead, ain't it?
Kinda.
It's going to be dark soon. You figure making camp?
That's the idea.
Well, it's too bad.
Yeah.
Do you need any food?
No, thanks. I got enough.
Well, I thank you for the tobacco.
Sure. Anytime.
Hey.
Yeah?
Not saying this beast won't drop dead from the shock, but do you want to climb on behind? Save you a piece of boot leather for a while, anyway.
Why, I'd be much obliged if you think that animal of yours can carry us.
Well, she won't mind. Should have been dead a long time ago, except she don't know it. She don't mind.
Well, okay. Thanks. Here, will you hold my saddle till I get up, huh?
Yeah, give it here.
Yeah.
Can you manage this saddle?
Yeah, give it. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, let's go. You heading for Dodge, too?
Not in particular. Just north.
Uh-huh.
This beast will do about 10 knots with the wind behind her, but we ain't going to get more than 5 with this load. You ain't in no hurry, are you?
Well, I was kind of hoping to get back tonight. It's Christmas Eve, you know.
Oh, yeah, that's right, ain't it?
Yeah.
That backbone of hers sticking into you?
Oh, no, it's okay. Thanks.
Notice that tin do-jigger tied to you. You with the law?
Yeah, I'm a U.S. Marshal. My name's Matt Dillon.
That's so. I've never seen a marshal on foot.
Well, it happens sometimes.
How is it you're down this way? Isn't it a mite off your course? So you marshal down here as well as Dodge?
No, I just took a prisoner across the Cimarron into Oklahoma territory. Turned him over to the Army there.
Did, huh?
And then he shut up tight. We must have ridden a couple of miles without a word. I got to thinking about Dodge and Chester and Doc and Kitty and the rest of them. You know, there's something pretty special about any place at Christmas time. The backbone on the stranger's nag was just about to split me in two when he talked up.
My name is Cowley.
Oh?
Cowley. We better heave to a spell. She's breathing mighty hard. All right, hold up.
Yeah, it's getting a little chilly, isn't it?
Yeah. Could I trouble you for another smoke?
Oh, sure. Here you are.
I thank you. Say, what's it like in Dodge?
What?
Dodge. What's it like?
Oh, it's like any other town, I guess.
Pretty big, huh?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Not so big as New York, though.
Oh, no, not as big as that.
You know, I haven't been in a big town now for more than 10 years.
Oh, is that so?
No. Been down in the territories, drifting. Thought I'd move up north this time. Maybe go back east.
So you're from the east, huh?
Some time back. Say, what's it like?
What?
Well, Dodge, any town. At Christmas. Same as it used to be?
Well, I guess so.
What do you do?
Well, it's the same as most people, I guess. What most people do at Christmas.
Well, that ain't saying a lot. What are the folks like? And what does it look like? I just kind of like to know.
Well, I don't know. Well, there's Front Street. That's most of Dodge right now. Of course, it's getting bigger all the time.
Do you have any kids?
No, I'm not married.
Yeah. Kids have fun Christmas.
Yeah, they do. That's certain. In Dodge, they sometimes have a party for the kids a couple of days before Christmas. Kids like that. And then everybody gets feeling good, looking forward to Christmas Eve. Like last year. There was snow on the ground, but the sky was clear. You could even see the stars. I was going down the street to the Texas Trail to meet Doc and Chester. Chester, he's my deputy. Doc's a doctor in town. We had some work to do later on in the evening. You could see the light shining behind the curtained windows, and almost everybody had a sprig of holly berries hanging up. They'd got some from the east a couple of days earlier. I remember running into John Bumby. He's a kind of general handyman in Dodge. Never says much, but he sure had a lot to say that night.
Oh, hello, Marshal.
Oh, hi, John.
A lovely night for Christmas Eve, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is, John.
Yeah.
Pretty fine night.
Peace on earth, goodwill to men. Mr. Dillon?
Yeah, that's the way it should be, John.
You know, Marshal, this is going to be quite a night for me. Yes, sir.
Oh, is that so?
Oh, yes, sir. Tonight, I'm asking Mrs. McNish to become Mrs. Bumby.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Well, John, I didn't know that.
Oh, I know it's been a mighty fast secret, but I'm popping the question tonight.
Well, I wish you a lot of luck, John. Hey, I'll tell you what. Come by to the Texas Trail later, and we'll have a drink on it.
Oh, I will. I really will, Marshal. You're good and kind, Marshal. Good and kind. Merry Christmas, Marshal Dillon. Merry Christmas.
Well, the same to you, John. That may sound kind of funny to you, but John Bumby's a good man. A little peculiar sometimes, but good as they come. And they don't make enough like him. Of course, most everybody in Dodge suspected Doc and Ms. McNish were sweet on each other. But it just goes to show you. I'll tell you about John and Ms. McNish a little later. So I went on down the street. You know, it's a funny thing about those words, Merry Christmas. Men say it to each other, and, well, it makes them feel kind of good.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Used to be a seafaring man myself. When you're on the sea and it comes Christmas, things like that can count a lot.
Yeah.
And we might as well get underway again, huh?
Sure. Hey, you want to take my saddle?
Give it here.
Okay. Give it to me. Okay.
Come. I guess you'll miss it in Dodge tonight. Won't you?
Well, if you could get a little more out of this nag of yours, we might make it tonight.
No, there's not a chance. She'll be on her beam ends pretty quick. She's been on a long reach since sunup.
Oh.
Mighty bare country up this way.
Oh, it depends on what you're used to, I suppose.
Well, mighty bare where I've been, too. It's not like the sea. That's always different.
How come you left it? I always heard a sailor doesn't ever get it out of his blood.
The sea? I guess you can get it out of your blood, all right. You got the right reason you can.
Yeah, I guess so.
Hey, you trying to get something out of me?
Well, no. Get what? I would just remark.
You want to ride with me? I don't want any talk about the sea.
Well, you brought it up.
Get it.
We will return for the second act of Gunsmoke in just a moment. But first, tomorrow night, Jack Benny and his whole fun-making gang make a personal appearance at a Long Beach, California Veterans Hospital. It's going to be a Christmas they'll never forget, as Benny and the bunch cut loose while they assist the folks at the hospital in trimming their Christmas tree. Be sure to join the fun tomorrow night on CBS Radio, when it's Jack Benny time all across America. Now for the second act of Gunsmoke.
Amos Cowley sulked his way along the trail for the next while. And then it was almost like he couldn't stand the quiet. Or maybe he had things on his mind. He turned his head.
Go on.
What?
Go on. Tell me some more.
Oh, about Dodge?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Well, you try some more, huh?
Well, they got a little pine tree in the Texas Trail.
Tree?
Yeah, come down a long way from the north. Kitty Russell, she's a hostess in the Texas Trail. Well, she got a lot of ribbon and gewgaws and made it look real nice. That was last Christmas.
A star at the top?
A star?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It looked like a star, I guess. It sure looked pretty. And there was a difference in the place that day. Everybody was celebrating and feeling real good. The doors would swing open and somebody had come in and, maybe somebody you just knew to nod at, but because it was Christmas Eve, he'd come right up and say, hello. Oh, maybe that's a good reason, maybe not. I don't know.
All right, I'll take it.
Anyhow, it was still kind of early.
Just wait your turn.
Kitty and Chester were standing off looking at the tree.
Hi, Matt.
Good evening, Mr. Dillon.
Hi, Kitty. Chester.
How do you like it, Matt? Christmas tree.
That's
Oh, that's real pretty.
Only tree but one in the whole town.
Yeah, Kate's got one over at the Alfaganza.
Oh, well, I'll have to see it later.
You're next.
Where's Sam?
I don't know. Maybe he started celebrating too soon.
Oh.
Doc's taking over the bar.
Yeah, that's right.
You want a drink, Kitty?
Sure.
Oh, right away. I'll get you a drink. I'll get you.
You haven't forgotten anything, have you, Mr. Dillon?
Forgotten? What, Chester?
There. What did I tell you, Miss Kitty? I knew just as sure as my nose that you forgot.
That. No. I hadn't forgotten.
Oh, well, I thought as soon as I get Sam sober enough to take care of the customers, we could go on over to Doc's like we planned.
Sure, we'll do that, Chester.
Here you are, Matt.
Thanks, Doc. Oh.
Yeah, well, it's still snowing out?
No, it stopped. Where are you going, Kitty?
All right. Just want to look outside. Ah, real pretty.
Man thinks of a lot of funny things that don't mean much. Kitty standing at the door, sniffing the cold air, and the warmth inside, and the whiskey in me. It was a good feeling. And then Chester and I decided to take a bottle over to Mr. Hightower. He's the telegraph operator over at the depot. He runs a printing shop on the side.
Say, Mr. Dillon?
Yeah, Chester.
Do you mind if I stop by the church for a minute?
Well, no, I don't mind.
I just feel kind of right tonight, Mr. Dillon. Figure out how to thank somebody for it.
Sure. So we stopped by the church. I've never been much of a man for church, I guess, but I went along with Chester. Wasn't anybody else there, just the two of us. Guess we sat for 10 minutes in that place. Chester a little way off with his head bowed. You know, there's a lot of peace in a church. Maybe it's the quiet. Maybe it's the good that people find in there. Whatever it was, it made a man feel glad about pretty much everything.
I haven't been in a church since I don't know when.
Oh, is that so?
I heaved to. Well, she's becalmed again, mister.
Okay.
She sure wasn't built for it, I'll tell you. You ever see anything like that?
She is kind of old, isn't she?
I've had her going on 8 years. She hasn't changed a mite. Eats like a pig and looks like a four-legged mizzenmast. Smoke? Don't mind. Hey, what about that fella Hightower? Did you get that bottle to him? Oh, sure. Yeah, I guess it was lonely over in the depot all alone. He was glad for the company. There was a wood fire burning in the stove, but it didn't keep out the cold much.
Well, how are you, gents? Merry Christmas.
Well, how's it going, Mr. Hightower?
Oh, slow, Marshal, slow. Bit of excitement about an hour back, though.
That so?
Yeah, 9:15 got stuck between here and Hutchison. Lots of snow back there.
They getting her out?
Sure, they're trying, but I'm sure glad I'm not on it. It's going to be a cold night on that train.
Well, it's kind of chilly in here, isn't it, Mr. Hightower?
Any warmer, and I'm going to sleep.
Well, say, we brought you over a bottle of Irish for company.
Jameson's. Well, I declare I was just thinking about a tot before you boys come in. Now, that's real friendly. Will you have a drink with me?
We sure will.
Let's open her up, huh? A couple of glasses up on the shelf there, Chester. Get them down, will you?
I don't know if you get an idea about the folks in Dodge or not. They're not any different than any other people, nor the town either. I guess maybe it's a pretty small place at that. The depot, the hall, a few stores, a church, Doc's office, a Texas Trail, Alafraganza, my office. Well, not much, but it's where you live, you know.
Sounds all right.
I lived in a town once back east. Small. I know what you mean. Well, maybe you'll be going back. Maybe. Say, the kids, they still believe in St. Nick? Oh, sure. I
Mighty
suppose.
few kids down where I've been. Injun kids, they don't believe in St. Nick.
No reason they should, I guess.
I used to believe in it, you know that?
Well, I guess most people did one time or another. Hey, you figure we come maybe 10 miles?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's getting dark.
Yeah. Well, come on. You want to ride the saddle for a bit?
Oh, no. That's okay.
Well, then okay.
We rode on, and I thought about last year, about Kitty, Doc, and Chester and me going over to Doc's place after Doc got tired at Tendon Bar at the Texas Trail. It was about 1:45, and we stood around and sang Christmas carols. I remember how it sounded that night, how it looked. The glow in the stove in the middle of the room, and the frosty windows.
On a cold winter
Yeah, it was Christmas Eve, all right.
was so deep. Noel, 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 Noel. Born is the King of Israel.
Say, that was fine. That was just fine.
Yes, it was.
Oh, gee. Say, now, what do you say if we...
Listen.
Huh? Oh. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
You know, I feel sentimental. That's exactly what I feel. I feel sentimental.
I know what you mean, Doc. I surely know.
Okay, Doc. Bring him out.
And I remember how Doc scuttled over to the bureau and brought out some packages. The presents weren't much, but it didn't matter what they were. And when we'd finished opening them, it was Chester who said what we were all thinking.
I just want to say, Miss Kitty, Doc, you, Mr. Dillon, I just want to say that this is the best doggone Christmas I ever had. And that's what I want to
say. Say, you was going to tell me about that fella John was courting that woman. What was her name?
Oh, yeah. Ms. McNish.
That's right.
Well, she said yes. And you've never seen two happier people in your whole life. Yeah, she's Ms. McNish Bumpy now.
Oh, that's good.
You know, you might settle for a bit in Dodge, or you could get work there.
Sure would be fine if you could get back tonight, wouldn't it?
Well, it can't be helped. I'd be a lot further away and a sight more tired if you hadn't come along.
Yeah. Now, listen. How far do you figure before there's a place you might pick up a horse?
Oh, I don't know, 15 miles or so, maybe.
Oh, we're not going to make any 15 miles in this nag tonight, that's for sure.
Oh, that's all right.
Now, I tell you what. You go on alone, you see.
Oh, no, forget it.
Now, you go on alone. She'd hold out with one man on her. And then you get a fresh horse and you ride into Dodge tonight.
Well, thanks. That's very
I'm
kind.
telling you, I want you to go. I'll be fine. I've walked before. Probably make it almost as quick as you.
Look, it's real nice of you, Mr. Cawley, but no thanks.
Now, Christmas don't mean nothing to me. You got friends waiting for you.
Well, I'll see them tomorrow.
You're a fool.
Well, that may be.
All of them nice folks. I'm going to make them feel pretty bad.
Look, I'll stay. If you want to go on along, thanks for the ride.
Well, might as well make camp then.
I guess so.
And listen, you want to tell me some more about what you was telling me before we turn in?
Well, sure.
I take it kindly, mister. I'll get yourself settled. I got some stuff in my pack we can eat and maybe get a fire going. Then after we eat, you can tell me some more.
We made a fire and then shared what we had for supper. He seemed to soften up after that, and we talked for a couple or 3 hours. It was like he was starved for news of people, everyday things, and just plain company. And that's how we spent Christmas Eve together out on the plain. And then when the fire was dying down and I was about ready for sleep, he said...
Marshal.
Yeah?
I want to tell you something. I've been needing to tell it for a long time. Do you mind?
Oh, of course I don't mind.
Well, then I'll tell you. A few years ago, I was skipper of a little schooner. Used to sail up and down the East Coast, you know, Boston, New York.
Yeah.
Well, one night, we hit dirty weather off New Jersey. Real dirty. Blew us off course, and we piled up on the rocks and knocked the bottom out.
That's too bad.
There was 18 passengers aboard, Marshal. 4 of them was kids. We never saw them again.
No.
And my own wife and my kid went down, too.
I'm sorry.
Well, no. Something must have happened to me after that. I didn't want nothing to do with ships or the sea, and I started to drift out this way. I couldn't forget, though, do you know? And I didn't want to be near folks, especially kids, to remind me, do you know?
Yeah.
And that's how come I've been slewing around ever since.
Sure, I understand.
Just kind of wanted to get it off my chest.
Sure.
Marshal, I'd like to ride into Dodge with you tomorrow. You think I might meet some of them folks you was telling about?
Why? I don't see why not.
That'd be all right. Maybe I wouldn't need to drift no more. Maybe I could, drop anchor, do you know?
Yeah, you might at that.
Yes. Well, good night.
Good night.
Merry Christmas, Marshal.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Cowley.
Gunsmoke, under the direction of Norman MacDonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Tonight's story was specially written for Gunsmoke by Anthony Ellis, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Featured in the cast were Lawrence Dobkin, with Harry Bartell and John Daner, Parley Bear as Chester, Howard McNear as Doc, and Georgia Ellis as Kitty. Gunsmoke is heard by our troops overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Join us again next week as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, fights to bring law and order out of the wild violence of the West in Gunsmoke. Tomorrow night, Edgar Bergen's real-life daughter, Candy, pays him and you a visit on The Edgar Bergen Show with Charlie McCarthy. Candy and Charlie hit it off fine, but Edgar has cause to regret his hasty decision to invite his 6-year-old daughter into the show, especially when she starts throwing her voice. Sounds like fun tomorrow night on most of these same stations when CBS Radio presents The Edgar Bergen Show with Charlie McCarthy. This is Roy Rowan speaking. And remember, Eve Arden, as our Miss Brooks, teaches you how to laugh every Sunday on the CBS Radio Network.
Well, it looks like Christmas brings what could be a new beginning for Amos on this episode of Gunsmoke. Next week, at the Northern Light Webcasting Network, a new year will also begin as Colfax Viking girls basketball will continue on NLWN-TV as the Vikings will take on the St. Croix Central Panthers on January 2nd, and the Colfax Viking boys will take on the Turtle Lake Lakers on NLWN-2 also on January 2nd. Coming up this spring, NLWN-TV will carry Colfax Viking baseball and also Eau Claire Cavalier baseball. In addition, watch for announcements of other upcoming broadcasts by going to www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com or check out the Northern Light Webcasting page on Facebook. I'm Crystal, and I hope you've enjoyed our Christmas gift to you for 2023. We sure hope you have a very Merry Christmas, and we hope to see you through 2024.